09 hours. On live commentary, I'm Claudette Sindaza Jonga.
And I'm also Joe Akatama Muyunda, joined by our two sign language interpreters, Chola Kaoma and Jason Manda.
Time now to look at business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday, which was Thursday, 24th July 2025. Madam Speaker did make a myriad of announcements. In the first one, she did recognize the presence in the Speaker's gallery of a delegation from the Parliament of Uganda, comprising the following members. That's Honorable Newton Kalulu, Member of Parliament and Chairperson of the Uganda Parliamentary Alliance on Food and Nutrition Security, and Mr. Kizito Sesi Nowodza, Coordinator of the Uganda Parliamentary Alliance on Food and Nutrition.
Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Great North Road Academy and the Jamestown Academy in Lusaka district, and on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker welcomed the visitors.
All right, Madam Speaker also did recognize the presence of visitors from Kema Parliamentary Constituency in Kema district. Madam Speaker did acquaint the House with the presence in the Speaker's gallery of the following members of the Emeritus Parliamentarians of Africa in Lusaka district. That's Honorable Dr. Michael Kaingo, who is the President, Honorable Anchungu, who is the Vice President. Joe?
After those announcements, Madam, the following urgent matters without notice, understanding order 142, were raised. And the first one did come from Mr. Fove on the subject matter on the water crisis in Chuluvi district, and this matter was not admitted. The second one did come from Mr. Anton Kasandwe on the delivery of ambulances procured by the Ministry of Health to Bangwayulu and other parliamentary constituencies, and this matter was also not admitted.
Just to take you a little bit back, other members of the Emeritus Parliamentarians of Africa that were welcomed by Madam Speaker yesterday were Honorable Kenneth Chipungu, who's the Treasurer, and Honorable Professor Geoffrey Lungwangwa, who's the Secretary General. The House did consider questions for answer numbers 391, understanding order number 80.
Thereafter, there was a consideration of the committee report, and this was a motion moved by Mr. Fred Jatila. He is a Momba constituency member of Parliament. He did move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the consideration of the 2024 Annual Progress Report on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd July 2025. And this particular motion was seconded by Kantanshi Member of Parliament, Mr. Anton Mumba. The report was adopted.
Kalomo Central Member of Parliament and Chairperson of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Harry Kamboni, did move a motion urging the House to adopt the reports of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the Performance Audit Report on the implementation of the free education policy in enhancing access and quality of education to learners in Zambia 2020 to 2024 for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 23rd July 2025.
Thereafter, the House did consider the National Road Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2025 at committee stage, and the bill reported without amendment, and paid reading to be taken today, 25th July 2025.
The other bill that was considered yesterday on the floor of the House was the Border Management and Trade Facilitation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025. The bill was reported with amendments and will be considered today.
And the House adjourned accordingly at 18:27 hours.
All right, that's the business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday. Time now to look at what we have in store for you regarding the business that is going to be considered on the floor of the House. We do expect a ruling to be delivered by Madam Speaker. And it being a Friday, we have our honor, the Vice President's Question Time, 45-minute segment that accords members of Parliament to ask our honor, the Vice President, questions without notice.
Thereafter, we do expect the House to consider one ordinary question, understanding order 80, and this is question number 392, coming from Mr. Philemon Twasa, Kasenengwa Member of Parliament, to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics whether the government is aware over the concerns by the passengers over the deteriorating quality and safety over the Zambia Airways flights? If so, what urgent measures are being taken to prevent potential aviation disaster? How frequent are the aircraft are serviced?
All right, thereafter we have two group questions for oral answer understanding order number 5383, beg your pardon, and these are questions that are similar in nature and they will be directed at the Minister of Community Development and Social Services. So the first question is going to come from Mr. Munsanje of Mbarala constituency. He is expected to ask the Minister of Community Development and Social Services a question in two parts: whether government has any plans to ratify and domesticate the African Disability Protocol; if so, when the plans will be implemented.
Mr. Andrew Tayengwa is Kawata Member of Parliament to ask the Minister of Community Development and Social Services in three parts why the government has not issued a statutory instrument to operationalize the provision of services to persons with disabilities as required by the Persons with Disabilities Act No. 6 of 2012, whether the government has any plans to amend the Act, and if so, when the plans will be implemented.
We do expect Dr. Chitalu Chilufya to move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on Parastatal Bodies on the report of the Auditor General on the accounts of parastatal bodies and other statutory institutions for the financial year ended 31st December 2023 for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday 23rd July 2025.
Mr. Elias Musonda to move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Parliamentary Reforms and Modernization Committee on enhancing participation of the public in the work of Parliament for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly on the table of the House on Tuesday 22nd July 2025, just to make mention that this report is considered in camera.
So after consideration of those two reports, we do expect the House to consider, two government bills at report stage and third reading stage. And so the Border Management and Trade Facilitation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025, will be considered at report stage.
The National Road Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2025, to be considered at a third reading stage. This order paper can be accessed on the National Assembly of Zambia website, www.parliament.gov.za.
So that's the business that is expected to be considered on the floor of the House. We do expect you to stay tuned right here as we endeavor to bring Parliament closer to you. Just about now, we're standing by for the Speaker's procession. Good morning and pleasant viewing.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
Sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who blend. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun. Oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, O one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Good morning. Live pictures are coming away here on our Parliament television. As soon as a quorum is constituted, business will commence. 1/3 of members of Parliament need to be present in the House in order for business to be transacted. And so, in case you've just joined us, we'll have a quick look at what is expected to be considered on the floor of the House. Joe.
Yes, indeed, we do expect announcements, if there be any. We also have a ruling, urgent matters without notice, if there will be any. Her Honor the Vice President's question time, a segment of 45 minutes. One person for oral answer understanding order 82. This is an urgent question, and also two grouped questions for oral answer understanding order 83, and two committee reports also to be considered.
Would we expect the House to consider the Border Management and Trade Facilitation Bill coming up at report stage, and the National Assembly Broadband Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2025, which will be considered at third reading stage?
Yes, maybe just to go through the first question. This is question 392, expected to come from Mr. Philemon Plaza, Kasenengwa Member of Parliament, to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics whether the government is aware of the concerns by passengers over the deteriorating quality and safety of the Zambia Airways flights. If so, what urgent measures have been taken to prevent potential aviation disaster? C, how frequent the airline aircraft are serviced, and whether current maintenance practices of the aircraft meet international safety standards, whether the government has any plans to acquire additional aircrafts to improve operational capacity and safety, and if so, if there are no such plans, why?
Would we expect the House to consider two grouped questions for oral answer, understanding order 83? These are questions that are similar in nature and will be directed to the Minister of Community Development and Social Services. One of them has to do with ratifying and domesticating the African Disability Protocol, and the other one is on the operationalization of the provision of services to persons with disabilities as required by the Persons with Disabilities Act number 6 of 2012.
Thereafter, we do expect
All the honorable members, I have 4 announcements. The first one, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Richma Private School in Kalomo District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The second announcement, honorable members, I also wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of students from the University of Zambia School of Education in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The next announcement, honorable members, I also wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of visitors from Malambo Parliamentary Constituency in Mambwe District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The last announcement, honorable members. Before we move to the next, I don't know if this, okay. Before we move to the consideration of the committee report on parliamentary reforms and modernization, at that time when it's considered, the national, let me provide guidance. Article 89(2) of the Constitution of Zambia states as follows, and I quote, "The National Assembly or a parliamentary committee shall not exclude the public or the media from its sittings unless there are justifiable reasons for the exclusion and the Speaker informs the public or media of the reasons." End of quote. Honorable members, the Parliamentary Reform and Modernization Committee is classified under the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 as a housekeeping committee. In this regard, Standing Order 199G states as follows, and I quote, 199, there are established the following housekeeping committees. D, Parliamentary Reforms and Modernization Committee, end of quote. Honorable members, the Parliamentary Reforms and Modernization Committee deals with the in-house matters hinging on the powers, privileges, procedures and practices, organization and facilities of the Assembly. For this reason, the debate on the report of the committee is held in camera. It is in view of the foregoing, I direct all members of public and the media at that time will be expected to leave the House. I further direct that broadcasting of the proceedings on Parliament radio, television and social media will be suspended during the debate on the report. I thank you. All the honorable members, this is a ruling on a point of order raised on Tuesday, 15th July 2025 by Mr. B. Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East Constituency, on the status of Ms. T. Lungu, Member of Parliament for Chawama Constituency, following the alleged submission by the former First Lady, Mrs. Esther Lungu, in the South African High Court that the Lungu family does not intend to return to Zambia. Honorable members, the House will recall that on Tuesday, 15th July 2025, when the House was considering the ministerial statement by the Minister of Community Development and Social Services on the impact of the social cash transfer and cash for work programs, and Honorable D.S. Mwamba, MP, Minister of Community Development and Social Services, had just finished responding to a follow-up question by Mr. C. Mulenga, Member of Parliament for Kwacha constituency. Mr. B. Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East constituency, raised a point of order. The point of order was premised on Standing Order 243 and 2231 and 2 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024, which provides as follows. 1. Requires a member seeking to be absent from the sittings of the House to obtain written permission from the Government Chief Whip or the Speaker. And 2. Provides for the referral of a matter by the Speaker to the Committee on Privileges and Absences for hearing and determination where a member is absent from the sitting of the House for 4 consecutive sittings without obtaining prior written permission. Honorable members, in raising the point of order, Mr. B. Kambita, MP, referred to a recent alleged submission by the former First Lady, Mrs. Esther Lungu, to the South African High Court. Mr. B. Kambita, MP, stated that it was reported that the former First Lady stated that her family does not intend to return to Zambia due to safety concerns. He further submitted that Ms. T. Lungu, Member of Parliament for Chawama constituency, is a member of the Lungu family. On that premise, Mr. B. Kambita, MP, inquired whether the House was in order to continue recognizing Ms. T. Lungu, MP, as a Member of Parliament when she has no intention of returning to Zambia. In my immediate response, I reserved my ruling to enable me start the matter. I have since studied the matter and will now render my ruling. Honorable members, the issue the point of order raises is whether a member who is outside the country has no intention and has no intention of returning should continue to be recognized as a Member of Parliament. Honorable members, it is in public domain that the 60th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, passed away on Thursday, 5th June 2025 in Pretoria, South Africa, and is yet to be put to rest. It is also a known fact that the deceased was the father to Ms. T. Lungu, MP. It is noted that some of the deceased family members, including Ms. T. Lungu, MP, had since traveled to South Africa and are still there, awaiting the determination of the court proceedings regarding the repatriation of the body of the late former president. In this regard, the Lungu family is still mourning. Honorable members, I'm also aware that there are ongoing negotiations between the government and the Lungu family to try and resolve the matter outside court. We remain hopeful that an amicable solution will be found. The House may wish to note that my office is in receipt of a letter from Ms. T. Lungu, MP, requesting for leave of absence to enable her attend to the ongoing court proceedings in South Africa regarding the burial place of her late father. In light of this state of affairs, the issue relating to whether Ms. T. Lungu, MP, should continue to be recognized as a Member of Parliament is a matter that will be addressed at a later date. While I recognize the sad state of affairs regarding the funeral of the late former president and the need for Ms. T. Lungu, MP, to mourn and put to rest her father, I am also alive to the need for the people of Chawama Parliamentary constituency to be represented. In this regard, I direct in absentia Ms. T. Lungu, MP, to present herself to either my office, if the House will be on recess, or the House within 14 days after the burial of her late father, or within 14 days of the opening of the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. I thank you. The next item is urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Solwezi East, do you want to raise a matter? Proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the matter I wish to raise is directed to the Minister of Transport. Madam Speaker, just yesterday around 15 hours, in my constituency, Likiri bus and an abnormal load collided at Lunga River. And the information that has reached my office, Madam Speaker, is that 8 people died on the spot, but the police are reporting that there should be about 14 and several others injured. Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister of Transport what measures are being taken by the government to state how many fatalities and also measures that should be taken to prevent further loss of lives over that stretch of 90 kilometers plus, which is actually in danger. And Madam Speaker, also through you to the Minister of Home Affairs, if highway patrol vehicle can be provided and a speed gun to our officers in Mushindamo, because there is none at the moment, to make sure that the road is safe. And Madam Speaker, just less than 48 hours, the only ambulance that we also have in Mushindamo crashed, and there was a patient that was being rushed to Solwezi General Hospital. Madam Speaker, I thought this is quite important so that we save lives along that stretch of road. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for, Zambia, no. Which constituency again? Solwezi East, yes, Solwezi East. Please, you can put in a question. I suggest you put in a question, and then the Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics will be able to address that issue. We go to the next item. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Serenge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Serenge, the humble people of Serenge, the opportunity to ask our Honor the Vice President a question. And in the first place, let me first apologize to you, Madam Speaker, though this issue of 10 bags has been discussed at length, but there is a question that is coming from the people of Serenge and other parts of the country. You know, nature of law says that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. And the way people are asking from Serenge and other parts of the country, I honor the Vice President. They're asking that sorry, Madam Speaker, this insistence on the delivery of 10 bags to FRA for people to qualify to be on the FISIP for the next farming season. They're asking, is it a deliberate move to win out people, knowing the trend and difficulties that people are going through to sell their maize to food reserve agents? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Serenge for that very important question, although we spent a lot of time on that with the Minister after the ministerial statement. However, Madam, this is a standing principle that people that benefit out of FISIP, whichever way, physical or electronic, should be able to sell at least a minimum of 10 bags to FRA. The concern you raise, Honorable, is that there are difficulties in not accessing the market, in selling. They are taking too long. There is only one word which maybe I have missed from the Minister, because my understanding is not that they should first sell 10. I am trying to pick a word there. If the rule is they must first sell 10, then it could be complicated, Madam. But if they should sell 10, You don't have to be stuck with your 10, waiting until you sell the 10, that's when you go. Is preserving the 10 to sell to FRA. That is the understanding. And I think it is important so that the people understand that they don't have to be at the, what we call the satellite depots to sell until you sell 10. That's not, the assessment will be, it's not a tithe. There is something called a tithe somewhere. No, you sell at your convenience before the end of the year. I think that is the way I can put it, Madam, to ease the people's anxiety. It's not like first 10. No. But keep 10 for FRA. In case something else happens along the way, we had a question from Kasama Honorable. Things can be looked at differently, but for now, please, if you can't go to the market, if you can't stay there, there are too many queues, keep your 10 to sell at the right time for you. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like first to thank Her Honor the Vice President and President Hakainde Hichilema for the works that are going on in Chama South constituency. In Chief Chikwa, ZESCO is on the ground to ensure that the people are connected to the national grid, as well as in Chief Tembwe. We are very grateful, Your Honor, the Vice President. My question is on the human-animal conflict. Your Honor, this country has been experiencing loss of lives, not only in Chama South, but almost all GMAs where we are keeping elephants. Madam Speaker appointed the committee of one, where we've done a concept note to ensure that we check. Madam Speaker, I'm happy to inform Her Honor the Vice President through you that using CDF in Chama South, one ward where we were losing people almost every week, called Mapamba, we managed to fence the entire 70 kilometers. We were given a budget by Frankfurt Zoological Society of about 30 to 40 million, but we only used 2.3 million kwacha. In that ward, people are now yearning to see an elephant. All the elephants have shifted to Rumezi, and we are discussing with Rumezi MP on how we can save the people. Now my question is, what is it that the government is doing to supplement what Madam Speaker has just started? I'm sure an effort should be a collaboration of Ministry of Tourism and Parliament, so that we make a recommendation to the executive on the action that should be taken to save our people in Chikwa, in Tembwe, in Sioma, in Ruwa, and in Livingstone, and many other areas which are experiencing this human-animal conflict. When are you going to actually inform the Ministry of Tourism to adhere to the directive or initiative of our Madam Speaker, so that we make a report? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Her Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Chama South, who starts by acknowledging the works that are being done in Chama South. Indeed, under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. Thank you for taking note. I'm sure every human being wants to be praised once in a while when something good happens. Thank you. As government, we appreciate that. But the real issue is the animal-human conflict in Chama and other places. Madam, I will need to be guided. The honorable member was appointed as a committee of one. Has he brought the report? Have you brought the report to the House? Or this is an indirect way of bringing your report? Because you are a committee. Have you informed us what your findings? Because we can't start responding to a committee that has not been reported on. And congratulations for the work done, and indeed to Madam Speaker for fencing off one ward where you used to have a lot of animal-human conflict, and you have solved the problem for that particular ward. Certain things can be done. I am sorry, I'm thinking standing on this matter. What you have done is very good for those people. But what of Lumezi? I think it is important to think through more seriously than just fencing. Because when you fence here, the animals will want to survive. They will go elsewhere. So what happens to Lumezi? And even if you fence Lumezi, my good Speaker Lumezi, well done yesterday, he will also fence. Then they'll go to Nimba. So are we really resolving? It is important we do what we can, and if it works, government can look at that. But remember that this work is not really complete, because the human-animal conflict still will just change course and go to other areas. How do we finally handle it? But thank you for the effort and for what you have done.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the Honorable Member for Chama South is anxious to have that issue moving, but measures are being taken. I'm sure we'll make them known sooner. The Honorable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given to ask a question to Her Honor, the Vice President. Your Honor, the Vice President, CDF is actually working wonders in all parts of the country, including my constituents in Kwacha. We've seen massive development in terms of infrastructure. Where we had no schools, schools are there. Where we had no clinics, clinics are there, market shelters, and many other infrastructural development. And in addition to that, Madam Speaker, the Zambians have been empowered through provisions of grants as well as loans. Now, my question is, the money that is being channeled towards loans, statistically, when you look at the figures, people are not paying back. And this is no longer a revolving fund, because the idea is when money is provided, they should pay back. But people are not paying back so that other people can benefit. Is the government going to continue to provide resources towards loans, or it's high time that the government should reconsider the position and start channeling these resources to go to projects so that a number of people can fully benefit from these resources? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Revolving fund. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and the Honorable Member for Kwacha. For Kwacha? Yes, it's there, Kwacha. I start by appreciating your kind words to your government, that indeed the general name word we use is the CDF is a game changer. That's right. And you have noted the massive works that are going on. So principally, from what you have said CDF is good. But in its goodness, there are components that you may have of concern. And your concern today is the component of loans, that loans are not being paid back. I believe it is all over in every constituency. If that is the case, yes, somebody is saying something. It is something, it's a mindset issue, mindset change issue. Because we borrow with an intention not to pay. And it's happening in the banks, it's happening, and then you want to bring here an issue that the people are so indebted. I hope I'm speaking something that is here. Concerned, we start saying, people are so indebted. Can you find a way? When you borrow, you must have a payment plan in mind. Have a viable project for which you are borrowing. This is a terrible thing. It will make us fail to grow our economy. Because even businessmen, proper businessmen here, they borrow, but they pay. When you fail to pay, where else are you going to go next? It's a very unfortunate situation. And therefore, because this is money already released to the people, it is important. And remember, this house was part of putting up the conditions. This house made a committee that made recommendations, madam. And therefore, this house has seen that this component of CDF is not working. Therefore, the minister is here. It's just important. I will not say it stops. Let's suspend. It should be suspended, Honorable, until people that have borrowed pay back. Let money go to other projects until people's minds are ready to borrow and pay. I think that is the way. Zambians are listening, all your constituencies, those that have been getting loans with the intention of not paying, they actually have a different name. They are not borrowing. Literally, you are intending to steal. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Your Honorable Vice President, the government employed new workers in the local authorities through the Local Government Commission to beef up manpower levels in local authorities, which is highly commendable. Your Honorable Vice President, however, there has been no corresponding increase in the equalization fund, which is being used to pay these workers, especially those in management. We have a situation now where these senior workers are staying 3-4 months without being paid their salaries. For example, Chama Town Council, and this is the trend countrywide. Don't you think that your government should have been more prudent to mobilize the resources before employing new workers to avoid the situation where you employ workers and fail to pay salaries? I submit.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Chama North, who has not only spoken of the problem, but acknowledges the importance of employing, and he commends that. Except the concern is that the conditions of service, not necessarily just remuneration, but the conditions of service are not in tandem with the numbers. I think when something good is happening, let us keep it and see solutions. The picture that is painted, Madam, is like everywhere. Honorable, there are councils that are paying every month because of the capacity to pay. And I heard the minister talk about mobilizing, mopping up resources in the councils. I think this has been noted by this government, that councils can do a lot, and I think he has been given that task, that we can raise money in these councils and be able to pay. But even without that, the Minister of Local Government, the ministry has decided to get reports of the councils that are failing to pay so that a solution can be found. It could be support. The council will look at each council and analyze and see the challenges and be able to help them. So that is what is happening. But employing them was necessary, like you put it, Honorable. But the government is not sleeping through local government. They have already requested that reports be sent so that a solution can be found. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Magoye.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Vice President. Madam Vice President, the Kafue Flats provides vital habitation for diverse wildlife and livestock. In Roach River National Park, we have a good number of activities that go in there, which include the black rachel that we have. We also have over 400 different types of birds. We also have an activity of grazing animals in this particular area, which we call Guira in our language, and also in Namara they call it Shimunenga. Madam Vice President, however, rampant pasture burning threatens the ecosystem in this area. I want to find out the government policy and mitigatory measure that our government have to mitigate in this particular area. Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Magoye. How is Magoye? Honorable is concerned basically about pasture burning. Maybe not just in Kafue, but is concerned about the Kafue Flats, which is host to wildlife as well as livestock. And therefore the burning actually robs these lives of life itself. Now he says, what measures is government putting in place? Number one, thinking of what government is putting in place. Banning, I think that banning, where is the lawyer? There are no lawyers there. Banning, generally wanton banning, can even be found to be arson. Because you are banning, places that actually endanger other lives. But this is again the issue of sensitization. Mindset change. Sensitization, Honorable. Because people think grass is grass, nothing. We are used year in, year out, we burn. I think sensitization is important. That is the way to go. Minister of Livestock. Sensitization campaign should be carried out. When we had a drought, remember we started that. We said don't even buy maize stalks because they are important. Therefore, I think it is important to have a program on sensitization of people. Oh, okay. I have another presiding officer there. Thank you. Yeah, so literally, that's what it means, that we have to sensitize people. Is there a law? If there is no law, we have to analyze, madam, because we can make laws that will just bind everybody and not easy to enforce. But we look at all these. Because of the issue of climate change, that's why today we can cry. Because if it was yesterday, there would be burning and other places grass would be sprouting. But where we are, it is important that we look at the environment very, very carefully. And that goes to green, if it's here. We have to, yes, green economy and environment. Let us take care of our environment. But it needs mindset change. Mindset change does not come from nowhere. It means somebody has to continuously remind people of their responsibility, and then over time, people will appreciate the grass in the Kafue floods and in other areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of debriefing and briefings going on. Let's listen to the questions so that we can also listen to the answers. The Honorable Member for Mufurira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honored Vice President, good morning. Madam Vice President, in March of this year, the Ministry of Education announced the recruitment of about 4,000 teachers. And during that announcement, the country was promised that within 2 weeks, another announcement of 2,000 plus teachers will be made to fill the replacements. Madam Speaker, this is July, way after the 2 weeks that the government promised, and this delay has caused a lot of anxiety and consternation and suspicions at the same time, especially among those that are expected to be recruited. Your Honor, the Vice President, why has the government delayed to announce the recruitment of the 2,000 plus teachers 2 weeks, more months after the promised 2 weeks has elapsed? I submit for that.
Thank you very much, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, Honorable Mufulira, and thank you for that question. The concern of the recruitment of teachers, and you refer to an announcement in March when the number of teachers that were recruited were announced through the media, I believe. And now you say there was a promise that another announcement, is it, will be made, or another recruitment would be made in 2 weeks. And you are saying that was March, today is July, is it 2 weeks? I think they may have been the choice of words if that was said. Because from what I know, and the minister is here still clarifying things to me, is that after the recruitment, there is another opportunity. In fact, this opportunity is not even waiting. It's a continuous opportunity. That people should not lose hope that there will be no more recruitment. Recruitment of teachers, you understand that teachers also retire every day, they die every day, they resign every day, and therefore, what you are referring to may not be called recruitment in the sense of the March. It is to be referred to as replacement of teachers where vacancies occur. Then there is replacement. Teachers are replaced every day. Maybe we can even say the minister can come and tell us how many have been replaced so far. The entire year there is replacement. Maybe the word recruitment may not have fitted in so well, but that is an ongoing exercise. Teachers are getting employed every day, but not in mass recruitment. Thank you. But not to be announced through the media, madam. Replacement is never put in the media. That this one now, we have employed 5 who are going this place. No, that one is not announced. It's quietly done. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I honor the Vice President. Good morning. Madam Speaker, when something of public importance occurs, it must be addressed in the best interest of the nation. I'm just from reading, Madam Speaker. an audio that leaked a few days ago between a cabinet minister and a member of parliament has found itself on the international media, particularly DW-TV. This must be addressed, Madam Speaker, as the audio is allegedly talking about bribery involving a South African High Court judge. This, Madam Speaker, puts our country in a very awkward situation, and everyone is asking, if there could be intention to bribe a South African High Court judge, how about our own judiciary? Is it spared? That must be addressed, Madam Speaker. And not only that, a lot more government documents are leaking and finding themselves on social media, Madam Speaker. The nation must be addressed as to what is happening. Madam Speaker, the question to our Honourable Vice President is, when will the government address the issues raised in the audio between a cabinet minister and a member of parliament who is even in court over the issues of the Patriotic Front and the Registrar of Societies? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honour the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Mpika and good morning, Honourable. The Honourable, I'm responding to you, sir. Yes, dear. The Honourable comes out with issues of public importance that when they rise, they should be quickly addressed. And he refers to an audio, except he said he read the audio. I don't know how he was reading it. But I'm sure he listened like, like all of us. It's probably a slip of a tongue. He's a very articulate young man. But he read the audio. Now, the issue of bribing a South African High Court from the, I think that's what you have brought out. The issue of bribing a High Court judge. Just listen. No. I'll speak from the understanding that I have as Vice President. You listen to a conversation on social media or even eavesdropping, you need to understand the full story. You need to interpret the full story. Whether it is AI or not, listening to that, it's not talking about government bribing. That audio is a suggestion. I listened unless I didn't listen. It was a suggestion. And all of you have been making suggestions on how to deal with the funeral of our late president. And the fact that you make a let us face it.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable member. Mukushi South, honorable member for Lunte, honorable member for Lupososhi. Please, can we pay attention? There is no need for you to continue making comments. You've asked a question. Allow her honor the Vice President to answer the question. And listen to the answer before you make any comments. May her honor the Vice President continue.
Madam, the Honorable who has asked, there is a saying where he comes from. Ubushiku bufuire nsofu. When big things happen, everybody speaks about the same. But they don't say one thing. This one says this. This one says that. Let us go. Let us do it this way. So those were proposals and suggestions. It didn't say there is a government position that we should go, and I am, just please go and listen again. There was nowhere in that audio, which I've also listened to, unless I missed it, that government has decided to go and bribe a judge in South Africa. It is not there. So don't add into. Face the reality, face something which is there. But to say there is government in there saying, let us go, madam, and bribe. It was a talk between two people, dreaming, fantasizing, like all of you have done. Like all of you have done, all of us, including myself. If you asked me, I was going to find a solution, but maybe it was not going to work. So, when you listen to two people talking, don't make it a government position. No, no. Ushikubufuire nsofo. Nelyashi lyansofo. Just know we are talking about a big man. And everybody will be talking. So, I just feel sorry that you also take note, Honorable, that there is leaking of government documents. That should stop. That is immoral in itself. Other than being an illegality when you take a classified piece of information and you take it to the public. That should not be done. But how much eavesdropping are we going to do? There is privacy also. Now, this be careful, all of you. What is your proposal over this death and burial of our late president? Maybe you have even committed also in private a serious matter. Yes. Things you have uttered. Yes. Let us search ourselves. I know that Changwa, Vaseka, who is that one? Baseka uwachelwa, wemtavwa. Baseka uwachelwa. We only laugh at the one who is caught. But what have you said in your heart? Some of you want to use the funeral for this, for that. We may all be guilty here of having said something or even thought something. But that is not government. Can you pray now, you? Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lupososhi. Honorable members that side, please can we maintain some order? Otherwise we'll be excused. The Honorable Member for Lupososhi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, good morning. Madam Speaker, the UPND government claims to be a government of laws. All former vice presidents of this Republic of Zambia are being paid 80,000 kwacha monthly. They have provided an SUV vehicle and a government driver drawing monies from the National Treasury. Former presidents of this country who have served this country diligently, when they decide to return to politics, you cancel or revoke their benefits. In the meantime, you are paying all former vice presidents 80,000 kwacha, provided a 4x4 brand new vehicle and a driver, including those who are still active in politics and have got an alliance with the UPND government. So my question to you, Your Honor, the Vice President, is which law are you using to draw money from the National Treasury, taxpayers' money, to pay former vice presidents, including those who are still active party presidents like MD? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Honor the Vice President.
Madam, the proposal is not fair. We should have joined before I started answering. Madam, thank you so much, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Lupososhi. His question is that the former presidents of the Republic of Honest and 80,000 other conditions. He talked of vehicles and so on. I think he may have information that he can avail. I'm not aware of those figures you are talking about. I am not aware of those figures. And I'm not aware that anybody is being paid because it's a former vice president. I'm not aware. I am aware that many former vice presidents have been appointed as special envoys. So if there is anything going to them, it doesn't mean that when Nalumango lives here, we will be on that automatically. Because there is no law, unless you make one, of course. It means that those people have a special responsibility of being special envoy. I can't agree to the figures. I'm not aware of the 80,000 you are talking about. I don't know. I don't know the other country, but they are special envoys, not former vice president. Nobody is being paid under that category. That is what I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, the Honorable Member for Chipiri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, there is a saying in Bemba to say, umupama pamo, watulile ngoma. Meaning, when people are talking on something over and over, it will be done. My question is on the mineral that we have discovered in this country, gold. Why is it that the government cannot take or own 2-3 sites in this country and start processing gold, which is not very difficult compared to processing copper? Why should we be asking for investors from others instead of the government to take at least 3 sites? For example, 50 hectares each, for just 3 sites. I'm sure Honorable Kalabo could cry on my behalf because he's very concerned. The government can raise money from this. The government can raise money from this, and there will be no need of borrowing money from other countries. But my question is, Bushe, Abatulowa, Nibani, so that we stop thinking in those directions where the government should take part in processing copper, which is not difficult, but we are talking of investors. Why can't the government partner within the local, those who are being given the licenses? The money, government has the money, they can borrow money for investment, not for consumption. That's the question I want you to answer. When you are outside, you try to explain how you are going to run the government. But when you are given the power, you lost it. You do something different. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order, honorable members. Honorable member for Chipiri, you said bushe, meaning there were some Bemba words you used, which...
Madam Speaker, I was trying to say, who has bewitched us? Who? To do certain things that we're supposed to do, which is very right. Nivani, we wanted to know. So that, yes, we are failing to do what we're supposed to do. God is everywhere in Zambia. If we could take that responsibility as government, we can make billions of dollars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Honorable Member for Chipiri, thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving us yet another opportunity to find out witches in here. Who has bewitched us as a nation? That is what he's saying. Who has bewitched this nation that we are failing to harness the resources in mineral form that God has given us? We are allowing it to just go out. And if you read the FIC report, actually, it is contributing to money laundering. And this government, even through the minister, has spoken of what we intend doing to harness the mineral resource for the good of this country. It's only that, madam, sometimes when we are speaking to one another, some are not listening, some are what? Already, even here, we have started putting in place laws. The Commission, for example, laws that should help us. Remember that this, really, loosely I can say there is an outbreak of gold. We have lived in Zambia for a long time. Governments have come, governments have come, governments have gone. We didn't know there was so much gold. And therefore we thought we were a copper mining, and we took care of copper. That's why we are saying, why are you concentrating on copper? It's the knowledge that we had copper. Even in Northwestern, not just about 5-6 years ago, we didn't know it was a gold belt. We still thought it was a copper belt. Colleagues, Honorable Madam Speaker, colleagues are there, and normally in the village, if you want to catch a witch, you go for the older ones. And you say they are the witches. So today, if we say who are the older ones, it will be PF. I mean, we are talking as governments, or the government, or maybe it's MMD. But PF was there when this discovery of massive gold began. We have found it's getting even bigger, and for us, we are not sitting back. What you are proposing is actually our proposal. What are we calling these minerals? Minister, we call these minerals a special name. Critical minerals. And we want to treat it differently. But we have to first be clear. You don't just say only this. We intend to own mines as a nation. We have encouraged private individuals, including yourself, anybody. But it seems artisanal has its own issues. And yes, we want to help artisanal settle. Colleagues, it's not something you just do abracadabra. We are working on that to ensure that our government, our nation benefits from minerals. Just listen to what the Minister of Minerals has been saying. In fact, there are ring-fenced areas. There should be ring-fenced mining tenements that should be left for government and the partners. When I say partners, you think of somebody from very far. No. You can be a partner because you have the capacity, because you have the training. And we have many ministers of mines, trained people who trained together with the same others. When I say that, you understand. Same others. We will do that. But let us do it in an orderly manner. Not just to go, this is now ours. that we will be grabbing things from other people. Let us do it orderly, and this is why we have asked this House, through the Minister of Home Affairs, Madam, that none of us leaders should have a dissenting voice, because we should all fight the illegal mining. We should fight. It's not benefiting even the people. Read the FIC report. Even the people who have established fake companies, or even artisanal, check their accounts. FIC says there is no benefit. So don't support illegal. Let us work together to find solutions. You are human, you are thinking, you have something. Come, whisper to him, whisper to me, so that we can put, we have never claimed to have the monopoly of wisdom or knowledge. Please, you are welcome. We only have this one Zambia. What do you think? Thank you for the proposal. It is on our minds. But we can't do it overnight. We have to do it well within the law. That is what we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes that segment. Question for oral answer under Standing Order 82. The Honorable Member for Kasenengwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The people of Kasenengwa would like to appreciate this opportunity to ask Honorable Vice, to ask question 392. Thank you.
The problem of not paying attention, or appearing to be here but not here. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kasenengwa. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Mr. Twasa, to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics a six-part question, Madam Speaker. In A, whether the government is aware of the concerns by passengers over the deteriorating quality and safety of the Zambia Airways flights. B, if so, what urgent measures are being taken to prevent a potential aviation disaster? C, how frequent the airline's aircrafts are serviced. D, whether current maintenance practices of the aircrafts meet international safety standards. E, whether the government has any plans to acquire additional aircrafts to improve operational capacity and safety. And lastly, Madam Speaker, in Part F, if there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, in response to the question raised by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kasenengwa, I wish to inform this august House as follows. Madam Speaker, Zambia Airways 2014 Limited has demonstrated strong performance and continued passenger confidence based on actual operational data. The airline recorded a 44% increase in passenger traffic from 2023 to 2024 and a further 25% growth in the first half of 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. Key operational indicators remain solid with an on-time performance of 91.36% and aircraft dispatch reliability at 99.9% during the first half of 2025. The airline continues to fully comply with all safety and quality standards mandated by the Zambia Civil Aviation Authority and other relevant regulatory bodies. Maintaining its air operator certificate requires strict adherence to these standards and Zambia Airways 2014 Limited has met all such requirements. This is evidenced by the absence of any regulatory penalties, fines, or incidents of aircrafts being grounded due to non-compliance. The continued growth in passenger numbers and improved market share, both on domestic and regional routes, also reflects strong safety assurance and sustained public confidence in the operations of Zambia Airways 2014 Limited. In Part B, Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that Zambia Airways is regulated by the Civil Aviation Authority and is issued with operating permits. Zambia Airways 2014 Limited continues to prioritize safety through strict adherence to regulatory standards, routine and preventive maintenance, continuous crew training, and real-time monitoring of all its operations. These proactive measures require that the highest levels of safety are maintained at all times. Madam Speaker, in Part C, maintenance services for Zambia Airways 2014 Limited are currently provided by ETMRO, a well-renowned and highly experienced maintenance, repair, and overhaul organization. ETMRO is an approved maintenance organization certified by the Zambia Civil Aviation Authority, ensuring that all maintenance activities are conducted in full compliance with national aviation safety standards. Their reputation for quality, reliability, and technical expertise further reinforces Zambia Airways' commitment to maintaining the highest levels of airworthiness and operational safety. Madam Speaker, Zambia Airways 2014 Limited follows a structured and proactive aircraft maintenance program, with scheduled maintenance forming the foundation of its safety and reliability strategy. The airline conducts regular A checks approximately every month, involving detailed inspections of critical systems, avionics, hydraulics, and structured components to ensure ongoing airworthiness. In addition, more comprehensive C checks are performed roughly every 18 months. These checks are significantly more extensive, requiring partial disassembly of the aircraft and several days to complete. Both types of checks, Madam Speaker, are carried out in strict accordance with the aircraft manufacturer's maintenance planning documents and regulatory requirements. These scheduled maintenance activities are essential for renewing each aircraft's certificate of airworthiness and are closely supervised by the Zambia Civil Aviation Authority. The activities are designed to preemptively identify and resolve potential issues, thereby minimizing operational risk and ensuring full compliance with safety standards. In parallel with scheduled maintenance, Zambia Airways 2014 Limited maintains high standard in daily operational oversight. After every flight, Madam Speaker, pilots record any technical observations or irregularities in the aircraft's logbook. These remarks are reviewed and resolved by qualified maintenance technicians before the aircraft is dispatched for its next flight. Both the pilot and technician must sign off on each resolved issue, ensuring a clear chain of accountability and continuous operational integrity. Through this disciplined approach to maintenance, combining scheduled checks With real-time issue resolution, Zambia Airways 2014 Limited upholds its commitment to the highest levels of safety, reliability, and regulatory compliance. Part D, Madam Speaker. Zambia Airways 2014 has concrete plans to expand its fleet as part of its broader strategy to enhance operational capacity, improve service delivery, and maintain the highest safety standards. Under the airline's 5-year strategic plan, 2025 to 2029, the airline intends to add at least one aircraft to its fleet each year. This phased fleet expansion aligns with projected passenger demand, planned route growth, and the airline's commitment to operational efficiency. The fleet growth strategy also supports the airline's objective to expand its presence across Africa, targeting underserved markets and exploring new route opportunities. By steadily increasing its capacity, Zambia Airways 2014 Limited will be better positioned to meet growing travel demand while maintaining flexibility in operations and service reliability. Zambia Airways plans to be adding one plane every year starting from 2025. The airline also continues to prioritize safety by integrating newer, more efficient aircraft adhering to strict maintenance and regulatory standards. In Part E, Madam Speaker, Part E falls and in D.
The Honourable Member for Kasanengo.
Madam Speaker, I want to appreciate the Minister of Transport for the detailed response that he has given to these questions. It's more like a ministerial statement. Now, Madam Speaker, there is very bad feedback on Zambia Airways. Almost 90% of people who fly Zambia Airways, other than the fare, which is very attractive, they come back with very bad feedback. I want the Minister to assure the nation, the passengers, prospective passengers, what measures are they going to put so that passengers who fly Zambia Airways, before I say that, Madam Speaker, much as he has mentioned about the 44%, is that the sales increment? I missed it, but 44% sounds very good. Now, I want to know, I want you to assure the public how you are going to sustain that 44% or even grow it. Because if the feedback is very bad, then we do not have good reference to anyone who wants to fly Zambia Airways. And then we do not have repeat customers for all those who have flown Zambia Airways before, may not want to fly back on Zambia Airways. Not even top government officials who may want to fly Zambia Airways to promote their own would prefer to fly on a foreign airline. What assurance are you going to give to passengers so that we sustain that 44% or perhaps even grow it? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister.
Madam
There is
Speaker.
a point of order. Honourable Minister of Justice, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise on really the matter that we come to Parliament as members of Parliament, and this standing order of 2024 is premised on standing order number 16, whether the honourable member, the one in white suit is from where? Chipili? Honourable member from Chipili is in order, Madam Speaker, in the way he has come to the House dressed. Honourable Mulupi was trying to figure out whether we are in a ceremonial way, it's traditional, but even that, it doesn't meet the criteria, because it seems that he's wearing a suit for a Congolese jazz band, the shoes, Madam Speaker, and we are wondering whether he's from Congo or is Zambian. Madam Speaker, given the standing order here and really looking at all of the ways how a member should wear, we need your serious ruling, Madam Speaker, and also if the whips are doing their job, because the member really doesn't look like he belongs in the House. But I could be corrected, Madam Speaker. We need your serious ruling as a House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister has referred to Standing Order 16.
216.
Oh, 260? 216, okay.
216, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. I've observed the dressing of the Honorable Member for Chipili. That's the nature. He's always standing out in white and always crispy clean. And from the dress that he's wearing, maybe he can stand up a bit. You can turn around, stand around. You can turn around. Those are what we call tails in the common. He's dressed like a member of parliament in the House of Commons. It's only that there they wear black, but it's still okay. I think he's well turned out. It's okay. Let's encourage people who want to be smart. So the Honorable Member for Chipili is in order. Keep it up, Honorable Member. Now, where were we? The Honorable Minister, is it who was answering? The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honorable Member for Kasanengwa for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member is asking what assurance I'm able to give of Zambia Airways' capacity to maintain the growth projections that have been made of 44%, and obviously hoping to grow that going forward. Madam Speaker, the comfort must lie in the fact that Zambia Civil Aviation Authority, the institution tasked with the mandate, ensuring that we maintain the highest levels of operations in our country, is doing, and that job will be evidenced in the fact that in the recent audit, as you may be aware, civil aviation is a field that is stringently regulated by the International Civil Aviation Authority that had come to this country, and that after the audit that they conducted, Zambia had a resounding performance that beat both domestic, rather regional, as well as global averages in terms of the work that we are doing to ensure that all compliance issues regarding airlines operating within our country are held to the strictest of confidence. And I will assure you, contrary to what you say, I, as Minister of Transport, whenever I'm traveling, I actually prefer to travel Zambia Airways. We who are privileged to have constituencies with international airports, we fly into our constituents on Zambia Airways. Whenever we are going to Johannesburg, I would prefer to fly Zambia Airways, because that's the confidence that I have in our national flag carrier. And I would tell you, of course, even in Fuwe, Madam Speaker, Zambia Airways is doing a very good job, and numbers do not lie. And that even in some of the instances which the Honourable Member may be insinuating, where perhaps we have used a Q400 to fly to Johannesburg as opposed to the 737, it is obviously for obvious reasons that the domestic leg may have more numbers than those that may have booked to fly into Johannesburg. Zambia Airways is doing very well, and this is why we project to continue to grow, and that this year we're actually going to bring in another aircraft because of the growing confidence that the Zambian people have in their flag carrier. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. I see there are a number of indications, but if honorable members were listening to the statement or to the response, the honorable minister covered a lot of issues that were raised. The next question will be asked by the honorable member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the privilege to ask a follow-up question to the Minister of Transport. Honorable Minister of Transport, you have spent quite a lot of time explaining the technical issues, how planes are maintained, which garage they go to, what skills are available. Those are technical issues that we quite appreciate. However, the reality is that there have been instances where people have booked a flight on Zambian Airways, they are waiting for the plane doesn't arrive on time, they are told you use another plane at 20 hours. I think members of parliament have been subjected to such instances, trying to travel out of the country to support the airline. So in reality, we still have challenges. The point I want to ask, Madam Speaker, is that despite those operational issues being adequately addressed in the statement, the reality is that we still have one or two things that still need to be attended to that affect availability of the plane at the appointed time. Minister, you are in charge of this particular sector. Have you sat down with the people running the airline on how they are addressing those complaints? Because those complaints are there, and we want those complaints to go away. We want people, when they arrive at the airport, Madam Speaker, they are ready to board the plane is available, so that we support Zambian Airways. What are you doing to deal with those issues of availability? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Madam Speaker, here's the deal. The Honourable Member speaks to a situation that is actually normal in civil aviation because of the stringency that we must attach to safety issues. This is not just peculiar to Zambia Airways. There will be times that even long-haul carriers may delay a departure because there's something that may be indicating a fault on an aircraft, and that you will not take a risk to take off and endanger lives of passengers. This has indeed happened in few instances as far as Zambia Airways is concerned. Now, this just goes to show the seriousness with which we attach that safety must always be a #1 priority. I'm glad that you are talking about operational issues, and this may also be attributed to the deficiency in the number of aircrafts, and this is why we're saying that it is become imperative that we add to the fleet so that we can cut down on those delays that may actually occur. So Zambia Airways, Madam Speaker, is actually on top of things, and that as Minister, I take keen interest to see that indeed they are responding to those passenger demands. But the numbers are telling us once again, 99.9% dispatch reliability is indeed something worthy of commendation. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. And Honorable Minister, thank you for the passion that you have shown over Zambian Airways. And indeed, you want it to be a success story. Madam Speaker, I flew once on Zambian Airways. And I have a picture here. And I think I asked the minister a question last time I came. And when we were just about to start descending, the plane, all of a sudden, had a depression. And the cabin, those things that you use to help you breathe came out. It was my first time to have such an instance. Now, these are the practical things that are happening there. The practical complaints coming from people, not what the technocrats have written for you. There's been complaint about the age of the plane going to Joburg. Okay? We have ProFlight. Why don't we have these problems from ProFlight? That is what your ministry should be asking. So I'd like to find out from you, Honorable Minister, as you leave this place, what are you going to practically do to address these concerns that we have brought? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that very practical question based on an experience, an unfortunate experience that you actually, experienced yourself, where you were flying and that you experienced a sudden depression. Madam Speaker, this Honourable Member has no doubt been a frequent flyer. And he knows, first of all, that what you experienced was not a failure in any one of the engines. Yes, you suffered a sudden drop in, the altitude. That will be obviously caused, you flew into an air pocket. That will happen to any aircraft. I have flown to Bangkok on Emirates, and that has happened to us. That is nothing untoward. And that if indeed the aircraft responded by having all those oxygen masks drop, that shows you that this is a working equipment. Okay? Now, if you are going to be a flyer, you must not be scared of such experiences. That is normal in civil aviation. And Honourable Member, let us not alarm the nation unnecessarily. If you are going to tell me that, Madam Speaker, we are flying from Joburg, suddenly both engines stopped, I would equally join you in calling for grounding of such an aircraft which experienced both engine failures. That was not the case. It is normal in civil aviation, and that is why prior to any departure you are run through all the things that are potentially possible to occur on that particular aircraft. That is not cosmetic. It's because you must constantly be reminded that at one point, oxygen masks may be required, and you must be educated on how to react in such situations. Madam Speaker, Zambia's civil aviation record remains impeccable, particularly under this new administration. You will recall that we are coming from a time when we had been banned, and that is way back in 2012. Zambia had been banned that we would not even be able to be allowed, should we have equipment potentially capable of reaching Europe, that such aircrafts would not be allowed to enter the European airspace. That is not the case anymore. If there is any company that would bring equipment capable to travel to Europe, would be definitely allowed to enter those airspaces. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member for Kasanengwa. Your second question?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm being compelled to, I will not ask my second question, the one that had earlier planned, but I'm being compelled to ask the Minister of Transport to shed, he had mentioned something, though not in detail, which will give a lot of explanation or maybe a lot of confidence to people out there. So I'd wanted him to add a little bit more meat. Why change an aircraft or an equipment at the last minute? People would think they're using a bigger aircraft, and all of a sudden there's that swap. And what that means to passengers, especially when it goes on a regional leg like Lusaka-Johannesburg. So that maybe it can give more confidence, because at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, we want to promote our national carrier. So we need to give people assurance. And there are some few things that the Minister has mentioned, except that maybe he has so much to say. So he's not adding meat, or maybe he's not adding detail to it. But on this particular one, I would be happy if he did, Madam Speaker. I hope he understands what I'm talking about. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member is referring to instances where during operations you have two aircrafts. One is scheduled to travel to fly to Ndola, and that's the Q400, and you have the 737 scheduled to fly to Johannesburg around the same time. And then you realize, Madam Speaker, that those that are flying to Johannesburg on that fateful day may only be 20 passengers, as against those that are flying to Ndola, who may be around 100. It is simply common sense, Madam Speaker, that in order for us to maintain operational profitability, that we can swap aircrafts. The Q400, which was scheduled to fly to Ndola, may actually be required to take those fewer passengers into Johannesburg, and that the 737, which obviously has bigger capacity, may then do the domestic leg. And that is purely an operational issue, so that we are not flying and making losses. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, please do engage the Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics. We need to make progress. We are behind time. Grouped questions for oral answer under Standing Order 83. The Honorable Member for Mbavala. I see that the Honorable Member from Bavala is not in the House. Sorry? Okay, so the Honorable Member for Kabwata is in the House. Honorable Member for Kabwata, this is a grouped question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 393.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister. The Honorable Acting Minister of Community Development and Social Services.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to answer the grouped questions, that is question number 393 and 394. Honorable Member from Bavala, Mr. Monsanje, is asking the Minister of Community Development and Social Services whether the government has any plans to ratify the African Disability Protocol, and also as to when the plans will be implemented, whether the government has any plans to domesticate the protocol, and also as to when the plans will be implemented. Honorable Member for Kabwata constituency, Honorable Taengwa, is also asking the Ministry in question number 394 why government, the question is that why government has not yet issued a statutory instrument, that is SI, to operationalize the provision of the Act. And in B is also asking whether the government has plans to amend the Act, and in C, when the amendment process will begin. Madam Speaker, as you had indicated that these are grouped questions, and I always tell my members of Parliament to be very attentive so that they don't Madam Speaker, our response in question 393, indeed, Madam Speaker, the government recognizes the critical importance of ratifying regional and international instruments that are designed to protect and promote the rights and dignity of persons with disabilities. The African Disability Protocol is one such an instrument, and it provides a robust and contextually appropriate legal framework that addresses the unique barriers faced by persons with disabilities on the African continent. It also promotes, Madam Speaker, principles of equality, social justice, and inclusive development. In this regard, I wish to inform this House, Madam Speaker, that the government is firmly committed to ratifying the protocol. This commitment is not merely symbolic, but a reflection of our ongoing efforts to build a society where no one is left behind, especially persons living with disabilities. B, Madam Speaker, as to when the plans will be implemented, the Minister has already initiated the process towards ratification by seeking legal clearance from the Attorney General. And once that clearance is granted, Madam Speaker, we will proceed with the next phase, which involves broad-based consultations with stakeholders, including organizations of persons with disabilities, civil society actors also, and cooperating partners to ensure that the process is transparent, inclusive, and aligned with national priorities.
Order. As the time is 10:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
It's a lovely morning. You're tuned in to Parliament Television. Business will resume at 11 hours. On the floor of the House was Acting Minister of Community Development and Social Services, Honorable Elvis Nkandu, responding to two groups' questions for oral answer understanding order number 83, and they are coming from Babala MP and Kawata Member of Parliament. In the first one, the group question is on the ratification and domestication of the African Disability Protocol, and in the other one, Mr. Tenga wants to find out why government has not issued a statutory instrument to operationalize the provision of services to persons with disabilities as required by Persons with Disabilities Act number 6 of 2012. And so the Acting Minister of Community Development is simply responding to these particular questions. Joe?
Yes, indeed, and when business are resumed, Madam Speaker did render a ruling on a point of order raised on Tuesday, 15th July 2025 by Mr. B. Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambia's East constituency, of Ms. Tilungu constituency, following their late submission by the former First Lady, Mrs. Esther Lungu, in the South African High Court that the Lungu family does not intend to return to Zambia. So we'll be able to give you the details in regards to this ruling. And thereafter, we had one of the Vice President's question time, a segment of over 45 minutes.
Just about now, we take a break and we'll be right back.